My name is Saptak Sen. I'm a product manager in the SQL Server team focused on big data and BI. Now, recently we have had tremendous amount of buzz about big data because there is just so much information out there that we need to make insights out of. So I'm going to show you some of the tools that we have which will let you convert raw structured and unstructured data into insight with very easy to use tools. So why don't we get started? So let's get started. Now what we have here is Power View, a tool for interacting and visualizing data running in a browser. So I don't need to install anything on my machine per se. And if you notice, it looks a lot like PowerPoint, and it's kind of intentional because we want to tell a story around data here. So it's data for the slides. You'll know what I mean pretty soon. But let's talk about the data itself. We have two main data sets. One is the movies data set. Now this is a commercially available structured data that we got. So this is data about real movies. And then we have the extracted tweets from the dump of Twitter feeds, tens of terabytes of tweets. So what we did was we ran it through Hadoop. We extracted some of the key aspects of it that we were interested in. Now that's all great. Now how do I tell a story with that data? Let me show you how. Let me start with the movies data set. Just with a couple of clicks, I have the movie title and the poster on the screen. Now let me add some more fields that I'm interested in, like the domestic gross, the foreign gross, the MPAA rating, the genre, and the release year. Now as you can see, it's already a pretty nice view of the data. Now let's make it even better. Let's make it into a card view. Now it looks a lot better. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to connect this visualization with a few other visualizations that I'm going to build. The next one that I'm going to build is around, I want to figure out what's the production budget per genre. So I'm going to pick the production budget from here. And I'm going to pick the genre from here. So here is the genre and here is the production budget. Now let me change it into a bar view, which looks nice. Then I know exactly how much folks are spending per genre. And then the next visualization I want to do is to figure out the domestic gross by the MPAA ratings. So I'm going to pick domestic gross by the MPAA ratings here. And I'm also going to make this a column bar so it looks nice. So as you can see, with just a few clicks with the data that I had, I have a pretty good visualization of what's going on. For example, I know that the production budget of animation movies are really high compared to say the action fantasy, if that's I didn't know that genre existed. Now what's even better is now I can pivot it around certain anything, right? For example, around MPAA ratings. Now I know what are the PG-13 movies, and in PG-13 movies, again, comedies has the largest production budget, and next one is action. For PG movies, you would see that animations have larger production budgets. This is all great, but what I want to figure out is how much money I'm making based on how much I spend. So let me switch this to a scatter graph, and switch this to a scatter graph. Here we go, and put the Y value as the domestic gross here. So now I know that it's kind of a pretty good correlation. The more I spend, the more money we make, except for this one. Here you see that in comedy we spend a lot less than animation here, but it makes a lot more money. So let's dive in a bit more to see what's going on. Why is comedy making more money by spending less money than animation? So let me count the number of movies they make in each of these respective categories. So now I know in comedy there's just a lot more movies, so they have a higher return than animation. And in animations there are fewer but big blockbusters with very high budget and so on. But in aggregate the returns are not as high as comedy. So that's great. Now the next thing that I want to figure out is that I have Twitter data, as we were discussing, and I can see that for the different movie titles, what's the number of tweets just the week before the movie release. So this gives me a good view, but let me even make it better. So now I know which movie makes how much money. But what I want to figure out is there any correlation between this and how much money the movie makes in the first week? So I'm going to again convert it into a scatter graph and make one of the y-axis the domestic gross. Actually, I'm going to make it the revenue and only pick the revenue for the first week. I don't want the total gross. Now, as you can see, there's a pretty good correlation. As the number of tweets increase, I'm making more money. Except that here are some discrepancies in terms of this definitely has the woman in black has many more tweets than or about the same number of tweets than the safe house, but the safe house definitely makes much more money and so on. So let's kind of dive in and see what's going on a little bit more. So let's see the total revenue actually that they made. So what I can find out here is that especially Star Wars, The Phantom Menace, has made a lot of money, but it's has and it's although Journey 2 has more tweets, it has made less money. So let me switch to the next view to figure out, okay, is there any correlation between this first view and the first week, the earnings in the first week and the second week. So here I see that in the first week, in most of the cases, I make a lot of money, then obviously it drops. But I want to understand how much it drops. So let me go to the 100%. I think this will give me better view. 100% column view. So this shows that specifically for Star Wars, in the first week I make a lot of money, then it dramatically drops. But if you compare it to Big Miracle, it's pretty consistent. So I want to figure out why. In Big Miracle, you'll see that the total number of tweets is much lower than Phantom Menace. So I want to figure out what's going on. Now I have a scatter plot here of the sentiment. Now by sentiment, how we measure sentiment is by the words associated with that movie in the tweet. For example, if the word is bad, horrible, do not like, or unwatchable or something like that, then it's a negative sentiment. It's more towards the 0. And if it's awesome, love it, and those kind of words or phrases, then obviously it's on this part of the range. Now I can see that here the big miracle that we were seeing that kind of held on to its earnings in the second week as well has had pretty positive tweets, although it had much fewer number of tweets than Star Wars. If you see here in the Star Wars, the reason now we know that because it fell off is because it had a lot of negative tweets in the first week. So although people went and watched it, and then in the second week nobody went back. So in just a few minutes we saw that we can, with just the data set that we have, we can figure out, we can dive deeper and actually make sense of what's going on. So what we just saw here, that we can create insight in a few clicks from two very different data sets. One based on movie, which is a structured data set, and it can come from within your organization or even from public marketplaces like Azure Data Market, where there's a range of data sets available. And then unstructured data, which was processed on Hadoop and key features extracted, and we mashed those up to create a very compelling story. Now, if you want to experience Power View yourself, please visit microsoft.com/BI. And my name is Saptak Sen, and thank you so much for your time.